All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. So back here with another video for you all, and this one contains cards or lecture content split across 2 days, so April 11th and April 12th today. And I just wanted to preface this video that this video will primarily cover cards just for the kind of like bacteriology lectures we were presented. The obesity lecture and then the nutrition lecture, I would recommend using those specific lectures and going off those slides and studying in whatever way works best for you, just because they're awfully specific and the presenters said go based off their lecture slides. So I'm not going to use what is recommended or what is in Onking. So with that, let's get started. Share my screen here. All right, so today we're just going to be in one spot. We're going to be in microbiology under first aid. We're going to go under basic bacteriology, and we're going to be in bacterial structures. And we're going to just start here in three, stains. And everything that you see with a new here is a new card. And there's going to be a lot of scrolling because there's not a lot of subsections I can break down in these lower categories, but we'll just try to take it slow. So make sure your cards are organized the same as mine with the arrow pointing down here. But for this one, we're going to skip the first three cards, and then you're going to get these next five here. And you're going to skip over the silver staining card because we only need to know two stains, the gram stain and the acid fast stain. So you're going to skip over that one, and then you're going to come down and grab the next six cards. And then we're going to skip a good chunk. And then if you didn't have this one already, this is from I believe this is from a previous video that I posted earlier this week. But if you don't have this card, come and grab it. And then you should have these cards down here, these four, if you didn't have them activated already. You're just going to come up and grab these two cards talking about the Ziehl-Neelsen stain, which is the acid-fast stain. And that is it for this category. Then we're going to go to properties of growth media. This one's really easy. You're just going to skip the first three and activate the rest. And that's going over like McConkey's agar, selective, the blood agar, which is like the sheep's blood agar. And then I believe there's another one in here for chocolate agar. Oh, maybe that's in the special. That's in the special here. So we're going to move on to special culture requirements. And special, you want to come down and find the McConkey's agar. So if you read here on the left, you'll see McConkey's agar. You want to activate those three McConkeys and those two chocolates if they're not activated from that previous section, the properties of growth media. So there's five there you should have. And then you're going to keep coming down until you see the selective, non-selective. That should be activated already as well, but if it's not, pick that up. And then you're going to scroll down all the way to the bottom. And you want to make sure to have the first two, skipping one from the bottom, and then grab the next one. So you're going to skip 3 and 5 coming up from the bottom and grab number 6 here. And then in the middle, we're going to grab these ones talking about the gamma, beta, and alpha classifications on the blood agar. What is the most commonly used non-selective culture media? Blood agar is a good one. It's a good card to have. And then you can come up above that and you see these 4 that say blood. Those ones are good to have as well. And then we're going to go into aerobes. And this one's really easy. So you're going to grab the first 4 and the last 4. And then in anaerobes, I would recommend just searching here for the obligate anaerobe cards. You're going to grab the first 2. Yours is organized the same. The first 2 here, just talking about that obligate anaerobes use fermentation to generate ATP. The oxygen is not the final electron acceptor. And then the second one that they don't have superoxide dismutase or catalase. And then coming down from the bottom, you want to activate the first 4 coming up, skipping number 5, but grab 6 and 7. And then after this section, we are going to skip 8. We're going to, and then I think I went to another section. Anyway, we're going to go into 9. And in 9, you already had some activated from a previous lecture, but you just want to grab up 3, 4, and 5. First 2, if you didn't have them already, grab those 2. So the 5 here, then you're going to skip 3 coming down, and you should have this one already, but if you don't, grab it. And then you're going to come down here, and then the IgG antibody down. You want all of it except that last card. And then we're going to go into, just ignore that next section. We're going to go into 12 here. And in 12, you want to grab all three. And then we're going to skip down over pigment producing in vivo biofilm spore filming. We're going to go into bacterial virulence factors. So you want to grab the, let me recorrect that. You want to grab the first card, skipping the second, and then you want to grab all of them coming down until you start seeing this M protein. And now the M protein is something we do have to know from the lecture slides, but these cards go into far more detail talking about like rheumatic heart disease. And yeah, we don't need to know that much detail. So I'm going to go based off the learning objectives or the learning objectives in the slides presented in the lecture versus what first aid. So all of them except the second down to the M protein, and then you want to grab these two M proteins out of the 6 or I guess 8 in a row. I'm going to grab these two here, talking about M protein is from Streptococcus pyogenes, and then the last 3 cards you want. And then bacterial genetics, there's a lot here. And so if you want, you could activate all this and then go over what's not activated. And that would be this card here. So transformation is used to amplify DNA. Conjugation of high frequency bacterial strains allows from genetic mapping. Those cards are just kind of like a weird fun facts that weren't in the lecture, so I didn't include them. And then these ones starting here, which 5 bacterial toxins on lysogeny. Yeah, we just didn't even know this specific a detail. So the cards with these 5s you don't need, and then these 2 here. Yeah, we didn't need. Yeah, you didn't need these 2. And then this one down here, the addition of DNA ACE will degrade any naked DNA present in the culture medium. You can pick this up if you want. I just kind of, if it's a DNA ACE, like a protease, it's going to degrade. An ACE is going to degrade whatever it comes. This is a prefix, so DNA ACE degrades DNA. Wherever it's put, it's going to degrade any DNA present. So I didn't activate that card because that's just kind of following the philosophy of the nomenclature. And then we're going to go into 18 here. And in 18, you want the first 3, skipping 3, and then you want to get into the exotoxins here. So these 5 exotoxin cards in a row are good to have. This endotoxin one wasn't specifically stated, and I don't think the bacteria need to die for an endotoxin to be released, but it wasn't said in this lecture, so I'm not putting this card in. And then you want the 3 following endotoxin slides, and then which part of the endotoxin is targeted by the immune system, the antigen. And then these 2 here, we saw these earlier, and so we don't need to activate these, but the lipopolysaccharide ones you're going to skip over this one here. Just that this is an awfully specific card about Neisseria meningitis. But you want these 2 following gram-negative cards. The endotoxin or exotoxin is heat labile. And then this one here that elicits a strong antibody response. Then you're going to skip over these 2 cards here talking about tissue factor, but pick up these ones about the complement system, and then skip over this one talking about the specific interleukin 1/6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha. And then you want to grab the rest of the cards in this category after that. So endotoxin triggers release of which 2 cytokines. That was from a way previous lecture. That's from FOM4, I think. And then down are good ones to have. And then we're going to jump into 19. And 19 has a lot. So it's a scroll bar, unfortunately. So follow with me. And we'll take this slow. So you're going to skip the first 3. You want the pertussis toxins through exotoxins down to EHEC activated. And then while you're still here without scrolling, come down to Bordetella pertussis, and you want these 2 here. And the reason, so the cards themselves might seem awfully specific, like Bordetella pertussis secretes the exotoxin pertussis toxin. But when I'm going to be doing this card, I'm going to be remembering this relationship, but then also seeing that it increases cyclic AMP levels in the neutrophils. And that was the key takeaway from the lecture slide, the increasing cyclic AMP levels and that in general in the GI area will result in like dysentery or diarrhea, depending on, I think it was diarrhea. So I'm just going to make that connection, not so much learning the connection here, but that's why a lot of cards in this section are activated, is because this follow-up picture is going to show me that it increases cyclic AMP. And then come down here to remember just kind of what snare proteins are, because the tetanus and botulism toxin inhibit snare proteins. And then when you're on the snare protein one, you can scroll down a little bit just so you can watch that little highlight, put that at the top of your bar. And then you're going to come down, and then we're going to get into the heat labile toxin for adenylate psych. Yeah, this card here. So you're going to come down, you're going to see the heat stable, heat stable, heat stable, and then heat labile is when you want. You want to grab those two there. Skip over gram-negative sepsis, and then you want to grab these exotoxin, these 5 exotoxin cards. And then you're going to skip over the enterotoxinogenic, the ETEC. You're going to skip over all these, and the EHEC. You're going to skip over that. And then you're going to get down to this card, the endotoxin, exotoxins released when bacteria die. Already talked about that, so we're going to skip right past that. And then from this one down, you're going to grab the next 5 cards, skipping Clostridium perfringens. Yeah. And then grab 4 after that. And so you should be right here. And this is what your screen should look like, this little section. I want to scroll down until that's at the top of our bar. Oh, where'd my little guy go? There it is. And then you're going to, so you have that card here, and you're going to skip 3, and you're going to grab the next 3. Skip 1. So we're going to skip over the Shiga-like toxin, but we're going to grab this exotoxin from Vibrio cholerae to get the cholera toxin for the same reasons that it increases cyclic AMP to have this little picture. You're going to skip this one, and you're going to come down, and you're going to grab the next 6 here. I can count. There's these 2 Shiga toxins, Shigan toxin, exotoxin, exotoxin, but you're going to skip over the chloride ion. And you're after the chloride ion, you're going to grab the next 5, depending on the super antigens or exotoxins that cause massive amounts of T cell activation. At that point, you can scroll all the way down. And then from this point, you can skip 3, grab these 2, skip this one here, grab the 2 snare proteins, skip this one, and then grab these 2, talking about super antigens. No, I think, the reason I activated this is because they mentioned CD14 and toll-like receptor 4. So this is an awfully specific one. So if you don't want these 2 cards, you don't need to activate them. They're kind of hyper specific, but I picked them up. And then you can skip these next 3. Fluid secretion in the GI tract occurs. Skip those 3. Exotoxin is heat labile. Exotoxin generates a strong antibody. I believe that's from a previous section. Then you're going to skip these 3 coming down, and then you want these 2 endotoxins, talking about how they activate the complement system. Skipping this one here, talking about all these. That's FOM1. And this one is FOM1 as well. And then, yeah, I believe these ones are repeat, but just make sure you have those. And then the last one down here, you want to make sure the toxoid this is just kind of a helpful hint, I think. So like, what are vaccines targeting? And then endotoxin, I believe all these should be activated from a previous section, but if you want to pause just to make sure, so you want the first 3, skipping 3, grab these 5, skipping 1, 4, skip 2, grab 2, skip 1, grab these 4, skip those 2. Yeah. But that concludes it for this video. I would still heavily recommend going based off the learning slide objectives and going off the lecture slides in addition to using Anki. But hope you find this video still helpful, and happy studying.